G'day guys, welcome Cox Plate Preview Show. 2 days of madness at Moonee Valley, the final 2 days we'll ever see at the famous Moonee Valley track as it was, and maybe as it always should be. That's up to the individual, I guess, but this is the last time we'll see him race in this configuration, and I think it's the 18th race over the 2 days, starting from Friday night to Saturday sort of early night. Will be the Cox Plate, so it'll have 17 run and one before they jump on a 30-year-old track. The Strathair, I think it is. Butch can confirm. He's now become a track walking expert. Just today, there's a lot of water to go under the bridge before they run around. We're going to get to the Cox Plate eventually on this week's edition of the Mailbag Preview Show. We've got David Butch Bourne, who's copped all sorts of feedback from different participants and family on his Indian adventures and the stories he had to tell. And Jono Rayner, the Mailbag Bloodstock racing manager. This show, like every other show, is brought to you by Punting Form. It's powered by Punting Form, puntingform.com.au. It's the database that I use, and you should too. Jono, how are you?
Yep, very good, thank you. Very windy over here in New Zealand. Don't know what you're abandoning meetings for at Geelong for a little bit of a light breeze. We've got up to 230 kilometres an hour here. So
I think that's a hurricane, mate.
Yeah, scary stuff, but seems all right where I am right now.
Butch, you've been well-travelled, mate. You've been Seymour with me Tuesday. Obviously, India. You went down to Geelong yesterday to watch your horse parade, not race. It was a dark day for everyone involved yesterday at Geelong. It's funny, Butch, if they forecast significant heat, they'll get the lamp thing out and they'll move the races to a 9, 10 a.m. start. They forecast massive winds. They hit, but they didn't move the races forward and had to call them off.
Yeah, I think when you and I were chatting yesterday afternoon, my first thoughts were, that they should have started a bit earlier and probably run the Cup, maybe race two, just to, give one race so they look at the track sort of thing. But if they'd have done that, they would have knocked off half a dozen races. The punters would have been happy. We call it the punters that were there. I'm talking about the people that were having a day out. And they could have stayed on, and as long as they bloody well liked, I suppose, even though they might have called the last few off. But yeah, they had that opportunity, but the information was all there, and they decided not to act upon it. And the predictable was predictable in the finish, wasn't it?
Very frustrating result for everyone. They're obviously doing the best they can, and we're not criticising; we're just commenting and. But yeah, from our experience, firstly we had one scratched at the gates and get a bit of controversy, and then we had the favourite in maybe race 6 with Sean New Deal, and he sort of had an 8-hour day, 10-hour day, and he's a bit of a hothead, and it's just too much for him to do it 2 days in a row. So he's had to scratch, misses that run in a race that he's favourite in, and it's a setback. You had a horse that you bought as a foal, go to the races, parade, and not race, and now it's gone back today. It's a really interesting sort of day today as they've redone them so quick with the form. A few have scratched, a few haven't. I actually liked it as a punter. I didn't have a good feel for the meeting yesterday, and I had a better one when I rolled through it this morning. Obviously that might change when the results come through, but yeah, it's interesting, eh? You got Mark Zara going down there twice for you, big fella.
Yeah, well, you've left out the best part of the story. It went to Kyneton, and the Kyneton got called off, and then went to Geelong the next day and got called off and went home, and it's back there today, 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on? And I think that these decisions aren't made people have got to remember. So the stewards on the day walk the track, and that's for safety reasons and for probably their own assessment of how the track is rated. So the flary steward Corey Waller with all the whiskers and all the hair, he's a character. Old Corey, he he was the man that had to front the cameras, but it wasn't. It was his decision to call it off, but it wasn't his decision to proceed 24 hours prior, where they could have, like we've spoken about. They have heat policies. They have, there's all sorts of policies of why they change things, but Anyway, they ran enough races to get the money off everyone for their marquees, and so all's well.
And interestingly, a club with a bit of form, there's 25 mils potentially hitting on Sunday at sale, so it would be savvy to go and walk that track yourselves on Saturday afternoon, I reckon, if you're thinking about sending one there, because it could be bottomless. It could be no rain. How do you know? You don't know. But it's forecasted to be Armageddon there on Sunday at sale. So it's a real crazy sort of weather period we're in here in Melbourne, the world's most livable. But importantly, we got a nice amount of precipitation yesterday in regard to the Moonee Valley meeting, and the winds don't look relevant and the rain doesn't look significant, and we could be racing on an outstanding surface there. John.
Yep. 3-point motors, Fillies Classic over a mile, 3-year-old fillies. Salty Pearls come up the favourite. We'll have a look at your map first. Talk us through that.
Yeah, I think the Keys horse Tessia rolls forward. Prestige Schnitzel gets a better run than it got last time. Ruska Roma, Polish Playgirl that started maybe $3 and failed in a Kyneton race last start, goes around from a mid to wide draw. It's a tricky map for a few, and there's a couple of nice progressive horses out the back that I think can really hit the line nice and hard. I thought that Salty Pearl was short. I thought that given the price that she started, which was sort of $26 last week versus Ole Dancer, so she's on the quick backup, which is a tick. She was hampered at the start, not suited last start, to tick. But, $250 now seems real tight to me. Prestige Schnitzel, I think, gets a really good run and gives us a bit of cover for the map for forward horse. I think you can back it. It was not suited, 3 back the fence, and $31 versus Point Barrow. So which filly do you think's more progressive, Point Barrow or Ole Dancer? I think you could argue either. Yeah, and you can sort of talk about 26 versus 31, about the same SP, and I'm getting 16 versus 250. So I like Prestige Schnitzel as the sort of on-pace horse to back. $18, $20 seems a big price. And then there's two that get back and run on, particularly Sketch, which is drawn the fence. I think can be closer than it was last start. It had excuses and was absolutely enormous. It flew late last start. It's very lightly raced. I think it's only had it's only had 2 or 3 starts. It's had 1 start this prep. It went to Kilmore behind Grinzinger Champ. It was slowly away, held up for a run, savaged the line, meeting best 6, 4 and 2 of the day, up the hill there at Kilmore. I think with John McNeil going on inside draw, it's a huge price at $41 and you can have a good bet. And then the other horse is Stung. Stackhouse Sticks. Ben Will and JD Hayes. It won at Kilmore, a maiden. Meeting best last 200. Savaged the line up the hill. It was slowly away there. So you live in hope that it can begin well and settle a little bit handier than last. But at the price, I don't really care. So I've got Prestige Schnitzel that I anticipate is going to be somewhere in that first 4. I've got Sketch that I'm hoping can land midfield, need luck, but at the price, massive chance. And then Stung. They're 3 horses, all at sort of $18 or bigger, that I really like there in race 4 to roll the Salty Pearls of our world.
Well,
John.
Salty Pearl obviously brings the Group 1 form from a week ago, which, you can sort of somewhat justify a good price, a good run in a Group 1, right? Enviable, how do you get it anywhere near the price it is? It's run well off of Apocalyptic twice at big odds. Like maybe 3 starts back in a maiden, it was not far off. Attica goes around favourite in the Spring Champion at Randwick. So you can sort of line that up, but I thought that was very short. I know it's McDonald, Waller, fine, yeah, possibly.
It goes K-Mac to J-Mac, but it started $26 versus Apocalyptic, so you tie that in. It's identical, isn't it? Yeah, it is to Salty Pearl. So, I would argue you could have it closer to Salty Pearl, but my initial argument is that Salty Pearl's way too short. So, I agree that it seems hollow. It seems that they've just gone J Mac Waller apocalyptic form. Let's put that thing up in the market, and then the other thing's on the quick backup with apocalyptic form. So let's put that up in the market. I've tried to dig a little bit deeper, find some value. I think I have. Sunlit Serenade, I think's got good ability, but the wide draw a significant setback until we see how this track is racing.
Yeah, I definitely can't blame you for looking for a bit of value there outside of the two favourites. The other point was Salty Pearl. I think it did start $9 in the Guineas Prelude with obviously Ole Dancer in there as well, which, obviously a slightly better price there. But
the other horse that interests me or scares me a little bit is Roscoe Roma. Just it wasn't suited, held up key stages. Where it gets to in the run, beg childs. You can lose sleep trying to anticipate where they might settle, and I don't want to.
Could lose sleep back in. We're going to race 7, which is the Group 2 Crystal Mile. Obviously over a mile, set weights with penalties. Rise at Dawn has come up favourite. He's been, I think he's dual accepted. Is he still in both?
I think he would be. This is a $400,000 race versus $1 million race in Sydney.
With Nash.
He maps well at both. Nash booked in Sydney. I anticipate that he runs in Sydney.
Okay.
Right. Let's just confirm he hasn't been scratched from Sydney, John, while I waffle away about this race. I think El Rocco and Golden Path want to go forward. Rise at Dawn should. O2 Good will take a sit as she did last start. She is going up in grades significantly here. Golden Pass got grouse form now. Has really come of age this spring. Rise at Dawn, I think, is the best horse that Lindsay Park has. Wherever it runs on Saturday, gamble responsibly, but bet until it hurts. He's a proper horse. I'd prefer him in Sydney because I prefer Nash, aggressive Nash, strong Nash, versus Mickey D. I can see Mickey D getting crossed by Golden Path and El Rocco, and I'm just going to want to cry. But I reckon this horse is proper. I think this horse wants and needs tempo, and to sort of take the sting out of others, he's just tougher than him. I think O2 Good's massively stepping up here, and is the sort of the initial hole in the market. Desert Lightning's way too short. The form's sound, but the SPs aren't. He's not a $5 chance. He's a double-figure chance in this race. Everything I'm saying is with Rise at Dawn in the race. Pinstriped, hard to knock, but single-figure SPs and pinstriped are not profitable. Never have been, never will be. Port Lockroy's cast is going awful. 3 disgraceful performances so far this preparation. Golden Path will start favourite comfortably if Rise at Dawn scratches and be hard to catch. Von Hawk was enormous when not suited last start Flemington. Very, very good run. No tempo. Savage the line. Wants 600 metres. Gets it. I don't know if it wants Moonee Valley though. And Rumbled Again's got some good runs. It's a real yo-yo, this thing. The wetter the better, but I think outclass. Same sort of story, O2 Good. El Rocco becomes a player in this race if it's mad on pace. But this is the 15th race or whatever it is on this track. Where have they moved the rail to? Eventually the inside's going to give way. And I just think that Rise at Dawn owns the race until it's not here, and then Golden Path does.
Yeah, if you ignore, if Golden Path hadn't gone around or had run better in the Turnbull, it's a lot shorter than it is. Blake Shingy.
Yeah, but it was tactically very, very dumb in the Turnbull. It's a go forward strong horse, and it was passively ridden. It was out the back, not out the back, but it wasn't up the front punching. It started $18 in the Turnbull. The Turnbull's the form reference of the spring. Yeah. It always has and always will be until PVL jams something else into it. But that horse is flying. There's 2 horses here that are real progressive, one more so than the other. Rise at Dawn is like the next Mr. Brightside for Lindsay Park. He's a beast. El
Rocco did interest me as well. First up there, obviously beat home Golden Path, similar SP to it. I think there's a 4 kilo swing in Golden Path's favour. Blake Shin going back on. I think those two, I like those two as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Golden Path's a box ticker, particularly. Once Rise of Dawn, I reckon it has to go to Sydney.
And
once it does.
That, yeah.
And the other thing with Rise of Dawn is that the market's sort of catching on to how good he is. He was like a steamer in Sydney last start. But he went too slow on it. Anyway.
All right.
That's race 7, whatever it's called.
Yep, the Crystal Mile. We move to race 8.
Do we have did D. Oliver ride Just Folk in that race for us once?
Was it the small field, was it, with Antino?
Yeah, it was.
That one? He ran it right there too.
Yeah.
Race 8, the McEwen Stakes, 1200 weight for age. Charm Stone coming off the Group 1 win. Has come up the pretty short favourite. Did start 31 in that Manikato. Got the job done by 2 lengths. Is it too short here?
Yeah, I think it is. I think the SP last start's like just, you can't ignore it. It started a huge, huge price here. It's drawn. It was completely blessed in run last start. Absolute peach from Blake Shin. Very much suited by the bias of the night. Right in the sweet spot. It goes from an inside draw to an outside draw. This race is not as good, but it started $31 there, and it's now, what is it?
$2.20.
Yuck.
It gets nowhere near the lead from that draw, does it? With the Jigsaw.
No. Regal Zeus, Bridal Waltz, Jigsaw are the 3 main speed influences. Clabell will hold a spot. Niance wants to be thereabouts, and Tropicus will be thereabouts. Then you got Vestas, who's like going super, is fast. I think Vestas gets back with Charmstone, and I wouldn't be surprised if it runs home faster than Charmstone does. I think Vestas is a very, very nice horse. I think that Charmstone is priced off one big run last start, and it started $31. The market didn't expect it to do what it did, and you need to avoid that at all costs. It's probably the biggest false favourite there on Saturday at Moonee Valley. Niance, not suited in the coffin, held up key stages, was okay, went out last start, started 440 versus 280 Tropicus. Tropicus was good off a little setback. The market loved it. It's now got 2 big strong ratings. He's the most likely winner of this race. The map's tricky, and you couldn't step into him at this point in time. Because if it's fence on fire, like it was last time we raced at the Valley, then it's a significant setback for this horse because he's not going to get to the fence. The track and how it's racing is crucial to this race. At this point in time, the safest way to play the race is to have a very, very small bet. Regal Zeus and Tiger Shark and maybe Clabell at the big fat prices. But that's how open this race is. I adore Vestas. Vestas has an SP plus Bridal Waltz. Bridal Waltz has the War Machine form. There'd be people out there, maybe me, that think that if Luke Nolan had been a little bit more aggressive on Bridal Waltz last start earlier, it might have knocked off War Machine. War Machine's going as good as anything we've got in this country, so that's pretty good form. You know, the Bridal Waltz, the War Machine form is significantly better than like the Charmstone form. It's a wide open race. It's an incredibly tactical race, and to try and step into something in such a condensed speed map on a tactical track, this point in time is just reckless. So I'd almost have it a field leg in a quaddie, and I'm going to try and just be patient and pick it apart and pull the trigger sort of, sometime after race 5 on Saturday, as I've decided how the track's racing and what's going to be suited and what might not be.
Yep. Yeah, I was exactly the same. I thought the price was horrific. Charmstone, and then when I saw your map, made sense. He's not going to get anywhere near the same run. Or she.
What would you do in your quaddie, John? Would you go field, or would you go like everything but Charmstone?
Yeah, that's... I liked Vistas as well. And Neons were the 2 that I liked. Quaddie, it's probably a field. Yeah, I think it would be.
Because like if it's mad on pace and inside's grouse, then Jigsaw's like entitled to go good.
I mean, if you like go back to Charmstone's run in the Goodwood. Started $10. Obviously, Giga Kick. I think was short on that occasion if I've got the right race.
It was like 280 that day, I reckon.
Yeah, and then you've got Tropicus and Neons who had much stronger SPs than that versus Giga Kick. I know it's a slightly different setup, but you certainly couldn't be going anywhere near it at 220. All right, perfect. Should we go to the big one?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, race 10, the Cox Plate, 2040. Globe's come out. How's the speed map look now that he's come out? He was a significant speed element, obviously. It changes everything, really, doesn't it?
Let's just hope that the Racing Victoria does the right thing, gives the 200k back to Connections, because that's crook if they don't. Globe coming out really makes this race tough to have a confident view on. I think that this is a disappointing edition of a Cox Plate and a sad way to end it on the famous Moonee Valley, as we all know and love it. I think that something's going to go mental here, and I don't know what it is. Then I roll through sort of the connections, and I'm leaning to 3 stables and 3 riders. Have a guess which ones they might be.
To take up the front?
Just to do something, a little bit crazy,
well,
a little bit different.
I was going to bring this up, and I thought Antino could be the one that takes the front early on.
T. Golan, B. Shin. Yeah.
I mean, he's often done that in the races. He's sort of waited a bit longer, come from the back and, take the front early, but I think he could do it earlier given no speed here.
Yeah, I think that's what we've lost. We've lost him, but I know that our man David Butch Bourne was gonna give you a push into Antino with nepotism. I think he's sort of thinking the same thing you are. I thought that Kieran Maher and Ethan Brown can be quite brave at times. They were very brave on Jimmy Starr and the Everest last week. That horse, I think, probably the least likely winner of this race, and why not have a crack? And then Mitch Friedman can flare up. Craig Williams can flare up. But they've got the grouse little barrier too. What do you do?
Well,
you run 4th here, it's $250,000.
Yeah, and they've got
150,000.
Absolutely nothing to lose, do they?
No, they do. That's what I'm saying. If you go too hard and shit the bed, you're losing. If you run 5th, you get $150,000.
Yeah, but they're also not expected to win either, and they could see no speed, try something different. They're not. The horse isn't as good as most of these, is it? So they have to do something different.
So you're saying don't be big sissies.
That's what I'm saying, Mrs. Haggis style.
Oh, Mrs. Haggis, what a woman!
I like Aliana's form and its runs. It looks to be building to something nicely. That's where I was sort of leaning. But if Antino, if they do take those tactics, I almost sort of venture into backing him. Whereas, because if they all start getting in a bit of a dogfight, I don't know about Aliana.
I think her barrier is a real setback on this map. She doesn't want to go forward. She was cowardly. She wasn't, but like the tactics were against Brightside that day. She's drawn 7 now. She loses D-Lane. She gets Huey Bowman on. I think there's a few setbacks with the way her setup. What else do you like here?
Buckaroo's a chance. It's probably, is it paying enough? 14s.
King Kong goes on. This is weird, this horse. Chris Waller, professional, organised, all over it. John McNeil, Blake Shin, J-Mac, Mark Zara. It's had 4 different riders, 4 runs this prep. That doesn't seem very organised to me. But this horse has a big run in it when it wants it. What sort of scenario do we see him perform at his best? I think they're always in really honestly run races, which is the same story via Sistina. This is not going to be that, and unless something goes mad, and I don't know what it would be to set up that sort of brutal tempo to the 600. I can see like I
was just going to say, is he the one that could set that up for Via if the stable are looking to do that?
I think maybe Aliana's the sacrificial lamb if they were to, not team ride, but, ride to make it so it was an honestly run race. It's certainly not going to be Via. She didn't do an extra 2 laps of track work this year. She hasn't got a big, thick Japanese girthy beast just going to tank up these beautiful sectionals that destroyed Pride of Jenny. Very different race shape, but it's grand final day for VR. I think that our good friends at Yulong went to Yulong this week. Look, this is a Growing Empire hat.
Wow.
Would you believe it?
That's a nice hat.
Full credit to him.
Was
Unbelievable logo.
Butch was wearing a hat with a G on it. Was that related?
He loves the grunts.
Grunt.
He loves like going to sales and saying, righto, show us your grunts. Allegedly. I think that Treasure the Moment and Via Sistina are the two obvious horses here. The price for V is just poisonous, though. I can't sort of step into that with no tempo. I think Treasure the Moment's the way to play the race. Big price, trust in the SPs. You trust the stable if you can and if you want to. I'd say she's been aimed at this. I'd say she was off a bit of a setback into the last two. She's been plain but not awful. Her numbers are strong. I think she's versatile. I think the harder they go, the better for her as well as the others. And she's that horse she's going to be coughing at worst, if not the leader of this race. D Lane's a big race rider. He knows her very well. And she's taken her place. So these horses have been vetted within an inch of their lives. So you can trust them more than you normally would. And I think just off her SP profile and her map, she is the logical way at the odds they are giving us at this point in time. Again, no, I don't know what can't win other than probably Light Infantry Man. Maybe attrition. Everything else I think is very capable, including the 3-year-old Nepotism, who was, I think, very plain last start. Like, there's a bit of hype around it. I don't see what it was, but 49.5 kilos, a big drop in weight from the Caulfield Guineas. It's a great form line, but this is not a vintage edition of a Cox Plate, and that's the sort of thing in this horse's favour, I think. Started at $18 and was beaten pretty convincingly by Autumn Boy and Co. in the Caulfield Guineas. Significantly slowed down from the 400 home over 600 metres off a fast tempo. Provided this is an even to fast tempo, I struggle to see how it's going to be super strong to 2,000 now. So, I don't know. But at the 49.5, it's hard to knock. It's never seen the track, but it's drawn perfect. Yeah.
It's unfortunate there's not a 3-year-old with a bit of gate speed. I thought that would really create a bit of excitement, especially with Globe.
Sort of Seamus Award style.
And who was that? Did they send out Yankee Rose? Was that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ran third.
That would have added.
That got sold. It's like a broodmare in Japan now.
Yeah, I think it's first foal sold for squillions as well. All right, that sums up the Cox Plate. Obviously, very tricky from a betting perspective, as you said. Not the best version of it to be signing off the Valley. Have we got a best bet on the card?
Best bet can be Rise at Dawn, wherever it goes. So Moonee Valley or Sydney, either joint. I'm going to be heavily with Rise at Dawn. We've got shares available in Vale Mountain, Elsie May, and there's one other. Umgawa's got a little bit left. He's looking outstanding. All up there at Seymour, under the watchful eye of David Butch Bourne and Melissa Page. If you want to find out more and get involved, Jono at themailbag.com.au. If you want your handheld and you want mounting yard mail, they'll tell you what the horses are doing before they race. You've got Pistol Pete at Moonee Valley Friday and Saturday. Rob Scurry in Sydney on Saturday. Head to themailbag.com.au and get their stuff. It's very, very good stuff. Anything else I've missed, John?
Or do you want me to flare up with a little Doombin tip?
Oh, yeah. And also, full credit to you for the beautiful work you did yesterday with the slide that you've created for Mailbag Bloodstock database people. So if you're part of the database, if you email Jono at themailbag.com.au, Wednesdays, Saturdays, you get a set from John. Yesterday's was amazing. $30 winner, winners galore. If they weren't winning, they were running places. Great set. Full credit to you.
All right. Doombin. Race 2, number 5, First Mission. M-Rod for Kelly Schweida. Ex-New South Wales horse. Got some good New South Wales form and figures. First up run here in Queensland. trialled very, very nicely. I thought 1200 metre first up, benchmark 70. Like the look of it. $5.
All right, follow us on the socials. You get the best bets from the whole roster. Paps, Farr, Gano, Praddy, Scurry, Butch, the Cotton King, Lindsay Bowles. Maybe someone else if I've missed him. Pistol Pete.
I'm on there.
John, myself. Follow us on the socials to get that. Anything else you need, always just email Jono, Jono at mailbag.com.au. Gamble responsibly. Call the number or visit the website if you are just losing control. Remember, chances are you're about to lose. That is, of course, unless you head to the mailbag.com.au and buy my set. Have a phenomenal weekend. Enjoy the phenomenal, outstanding racing that is on offer. And just savour that last 2 minutes of action at Moonee Valley one last time. Bye for now.
Don't be a sissy.
And don't be a sissy.